And so, without further ado, I'd like to invite Peach to come back up and bring us home. Thanks, Peachy.
Thanks, man. So what a dick move getting introduced, I shouldn't do that. Liam, everyone. Woo! Thanks, guys. Okay, here we go. War leaves the land. War leaves the land long after the conflict ends. Long after they've declared the old death zones mine-free, long after new farmlets are laid out and new families begin to seed. War remains. But not just in the shells of burnt-out buildings near which children play after school. Not just in stories of old survivors or at armed borders or in remnants of killing machines down broken-made roads. War remains most stubbornly in the air. Somewhere between the past and our hopes for the future. You can sense it in ways the wind blows with touches of tension, in how the clouds lie a little low and how the earth beneath your feet crunches down beneath your weight. You can sense war blundered through here. That people had their tongues cut out. That people had their tongues cut out. That children screamed. And families ran for their lives. There remains something that yet bleeds silently from every single conversation. It's not a hopelessness, but it's a sore kind of knowing. Thanks for listening. Art dies. Art dies. It dies a gruesome death in galleries and museums. Labelled, picked at and used, it suffers the ultimate defeat hanging up on those frigid walls fit for morgues. Fucking boredom. And for good measure, the necrophiliacs have their go once art lies buried in the universities. But God, art lives too. Art lives too, always and all around us. Because it lives on the streets, inside the hands of children passing secret scribbles in class, in your grandfather's shed as he chips away and sculpts, in the anonymous words of lovers. Yeah, art lives too, and will always live, so long as we realise that it's not even art we're talking about, but our humanity. Thank you. All right, let's go travelling. The biggest St. Petersburg cathedrals. The biggest St. Petersburg cathedrals are grand. They're so grand. But you know, they're not beautiful. A few doors down from one, I find an all-night cafe. Concealed at basement level, it seems a shame to be there, but for the smile of the waitress. This cafe, though, is why I'm pleased I made St. Petersburg. This cafe is why I'm pleased I made St. Petersburg. This cafe, humbled and shy, is really nothing short of pathetic. But much like you and I, that's kind of what makes it beautiful. Thank you. Please welcome Kate, everyone. Woohoo! Smoking a ciggy atop a St. Petersburg roof in summer. Tonight's best friends are beside me. Our rucksack sharing a room a few streets down. Cathedral stretch towards a sunset that just can't get itself to pierce the day. But just now, at this very moment, my chest begins to ache. This is old news. The doctor back in Adelaide said it's nothing. Said it's just a chronic strain and not a sick heart. But I don't know, sometimes the gut knows more than the doc. I know too that my grandmother's sick heart took her before she had the chance to feel my own beat. But whatever. Whether or not I really am dying sooner than I like, or the body is simply reminding me that, hey, either way, I'm dying one day. It's not a heartbreaking kind of prompt. More than anything, it's just a reminder to live whilst alive as I chant these ciggies atop a Petersburg roof with tonight's best friends beside me. Thank you. Lizzie. Yeah. Lizzie's here. We thanked you before for setting up this place so beautifully, so please thank Liz again. Thank you. Liz and Zach, thank you so much. Jack and Kim. So, did it ever really go down? Did it ever really, truly go down? You know? That time in the ice rink in China? Maybe the place was up near Chengdu? Or was it still in Kunming? Because we took a bus near 9 p.m, right? And then we walked the suburbs and finally found the empty indoor ring because the sun collapsed on us. Shit, it sounds all wrong. And I've wondered why there are no photos of these hours and why we've not spoken of it since. But you know, I'm sure that once on that China trip, we skated some lonely ice rink late through the night in some neighbourhood to the south of the country. And I have this one hazy memory of you dressed in black. You skate in circles at some point. Then you slowly draw near. We stumble and embrace. We stumble and embrace, Jordan. Perhaps for the final time before our decay. Our damn decay. Up till then, we must not have even known decay. We were but 22. Can you imagine? 20 fucking 2. Young love in a strange arena in a part of the world that already seemed unreal. Or perhaps we never loved each other because perhaps we were far too young to. And perhaps there was no such ice rink. But no, I think there was. And I feel my mind is struggling to recall it, for there are some things that only the heart can remember. Thanks, guys. I hope you're enjoying the travels as much as I am. Sorry. Such a disgusting human being, eh? America, hey? America. Venice Beach beneath a burning, blasting sun. My burning heart for you, America. How long can you withstand? America. Buses and deserts and somewhere coyotes. America. America. Somewhere coyotes. Oklahoma. Suburbs and questions, America. Fears for you in my churning gut. America. Just how are they going to loot your legacy? America. Texas and Longhorns and NFL with pizza. Jazz and sweat in New Orleans and dirty secrets. Dirty little secrets of a city that sweats on a port. America, so confident, I fear for you. The mob attacks the shining city upon a hill. They want to clean you out. They need to clean their rooms. America. The mirror in our room reflecting the image we see in ourselves. America. You fought the crown, then fought yourself for a yet greater America. Warrior, liberator in dark nights of the soul, your Susan B. Anthony, your Dr. King, your General Patton. Are you on your knees, America? Are you on your knees? Your history, your anthem, your children mobbed. America, if you go, we go. America. Your Jim Crow, your strange afflictions like CNN, but more, your Jefferson, your Lincoln, your enslaver, but much more your emancipator. A people that shine a light upon a hill. America, you're the stretched fabrics of all the world has sown, and yet remain the best we've known. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Nico, just a little bit to the left. Sorry. Okay. This is a true story. They're kind of all true, aren't they? Back in old Europe, by swollen church and funky dress, they kept a thing in the back pocket of the zeitgeist, the breaking will. The condemned were tied down, the enormous will dropped on every limb. Drop, smash. Drop, smash. 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 Life for the tortured at such a frequency must feel more like death might feel, if death could feel like anything. The broken bones would then be threaded through the spokes. The puppet of flesh hoisted up to parade its screams to a crowd. For those most damned, the reaper took its time in riding in to haul the soul away. The meat scavenged by beasts. The condemned were criminals, but how that fits fails me. They might have used the breaking will themselves. That wouldn't make it right, only worse. But here's no story of justice. Here's no story of anything. No final thought, no somber lesson to be learned, save for life is hard for all, and for some, death is unspeakable. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you for being the most amazing crowd. And thank you for all the love in this community as well. I've got about 5 more to go. And I'm so looking forward to sharing them with you. Thanks again for coming. And I hope you've enjoyed. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So that's what we did. My mate and I left Lovers and hit the road. But on mountaintops, we worked it out. We worked it out. We marched back home, ready to love our girls. We dropped our bags and told them we'd commit. They dropped their eyes and they turned away and said they needed space. Funny, really. That had always been my line. I need space. It made sense. The roles must switch. Love has a left and a right, but little else. But oh, how we dance. How we dance. She in, me out, me in, she out. Around and around and around this pillar of love that ceases to exist once we take our eyes off our lover and onto the pillar of love. Yeah, we amble by back roads in search of the corpse of God. We flail down the rabbit holes. We try instructions, but we plunge through darkness. And that's why we love each other. That's why we love each other, because we can't completely love each other the way we'd like to think we can. On this we all relate, but on levels more unconscious. We would weep out storms if we knew the depths of them. And who truly could bear the task of being loved that hard? So we pull away. So the dance. But I know she tried. And I tried too. My mate and I came home, and the girls, well, they gave us just what we deserved. But it's just a dance. I don't know. Perhaps it's what we'd hoped for all along. Thanks. Sorry. Sorry. I was dancing because of the dance there. Sorry. Everyone smile for Liz. Woo! A boy called Brad was my first best mate in high school. We were inseparable. It was year one of our teens. We had each other, and the world was going on summer. At the start of the following year, a boy the kids called Ruddy, a fat little fuck, claimed to my face that Brad and I were bum buds. It was the turn of the century. It was an all-boys school, and for Ruddy the ass to claim that Brad and I were lovers was trauma I couldn't process. So I never did. Instead, I spent the year ignoring Brad. I treated Brad like shit, like we'd never been a pair. He didn't understand. And neither did I, in truth. I think this was the crucial episode of my life. This one. The subsequent 20 years with their porn addiction, obsessive compulsions, and constant cheating should be credited to the way I handled Ruddy and Brad. Brad was a great friend. But life is like death. You can't go back on it. And I hope that Brad is doing all right. And I hope that Ruddy is too. For we're all of us the wounds of an innocence that never keeps its feet. The great horror is innocence dies before the flesh departs. So, here's to Ruddy, the thorn of my life. Here's to me, though I didn't have the guts to pull it out, and here's to Brad. Here's to Brad, my best friend in year 8. We'd be close to halfway through our lives. Perhaps going forward, the pain will be smothered now that the innocence is too. Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, true story. I think that in order to live, you must learn to hate on life. There you go. This is the crucifixion. This is the annihilation of the Buddha. The Whitsundays, the islands, the sun, the world of crystal, bar the stings, for the world yet knows torture. Campfires, mates and stories and love are crystals too, but they blight as we rot, then die, then rot. It's not that love ain't a thing. It's not that love ain't a thing. It's that love ain't found in life, but despite it, by the naked nothingness that's you, on that cross, in that cave, with no one left to blame. Our ancestors blame the spirits. Our grandfolk blame the Jew. We blame Trump, bogeymen everywhere. You've held your breath for campfires and islands in the sun. But hanging off that crucifix? Shit. It all seems such a farce. You start to hate on life. But breathe a bit and feel a little free. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Suburban mum shoves her pram along. The sun blasts her, the cars are sick, and the house is sad. One hand holds the pram, the other a can of bourbon and Coke. The babe starts to cry. The babe starts to cry. They probably scorn her. They drive by and think her negligent for her pram and babe than bourbon and coke. The babe starts to cry, starts to kick and scream some more. Suburban mum, half wretched and half idyllic, presses the pram forward, deserving that bourbon more than most. Thank you. Thanks so much. All right. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for coming out. Can I get everyone to just stand up for the final poem? That'd be amazing. If your body wanted. All right. All right, let's have a click. Woohoo! Life. Ah, such a click, eh? All right, a bit softer. Here we go. Arrive, music. Come the songs. Come the dance of sounds. Arrive, music. Come cut the logic to pieces. Come cut the logic to pieces, music. The giggle of the soul. You travel on the somersaults of children. You're delicate like the blinking eye. You come in chorus. You come in song. Arrive, music. Yeah. Come join the dots between the spaces I forget. Come spill the colours out the lines. Arrive, music. Yeah. Come show me how the universe appeared at birth. Come show me how it cried. Come show me how it held the thumb of God. Arrive, music. That's right, arrive. Come out from where you rest in the water, lapping up beside a raft, in the meeting of bracelets on a wrist. Do you hide in the corners of our lives and pity us, music? You grant us mercy when you arrive, rain, and awake us into dream. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I'll just stand up. I'll keep standing up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. My deepest appreciation for coming out. Thank you for honouring me, Nico and Liam with this moment. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for coming out despite the weather. Really appreciate it. This has been beautiful. And just want to say as well, this is also a book launch, so I'm very honoured to be, and very humbled to be launching my second book of poetry tonight. So if you'd like a copy, I'm going to be over there. They're $10 each if you're interested. I can even sign it for you. If you do have to go, but you still like a book, they're just behind me. Just grab them from the shelf and chuck $10 in the shoebox. No pressure to buy a book, by the way. Thanks to Althea for the front cover as well. If you do buy a book and you like it and you get something out of it, let me know. I'd love that as well. My email is on the front cover, but most people have got me on Facebook here anyway. My email is peach12345ZZ. It just looks shocking on the book, but anyway. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll hang out soon. Thank you so much. Cheers.